I can just make this call open so that anyone can join at any time. So let me just enable that now. So just leave the call open so that anyone can join without requesting, because that will take us much time. Okay, so welcome to our this Africa AI Vision meeting. And this meeting is going to be a talk. It's not even like a presentation that I'm going to make. Rather, it's going to be like, it's just a talk so that we can be able to understand what's the reality of the landscape of this particular discussion. My name is Emmanuel Madanga. I'm the community lead East Africa for the Alliance for AI. And I'm also the founder of Beyond Data ICT. So at Beyond Data ICT, we train people on data and digital tools. But at EAC, at Alliance for AI, is a community platform that gives an opportunity to African youths to take leadership to the next level in terms of AI driven conversations. So thank you for joining in this session. I'm going to introduce Alliance for AI and Africa GPU Hub. And then, as I already mentioned about the Beyond Data, then I will proceed to our discussion today. So Alliance for AI, as I said, this is an Africa's, this is a leading organization. I can just go to the website so that you can be able to relate quickly what Alliance for AI is. So like on this platform that I was referring, majority of us, we've used this platform to join to this call. But when I just search here for Alliance for AI, so Alliance for AI, I'll be able to land on this website. So this is a platform that unites like people who are marginalized, focusing on Africans, giving them an ability to have access to information and nurture talents, and also support startups, and also in terms of policy engagement. So this platform gives opportunity to youths. Right now has supported over 350 Black and brown youths to shape the society with AI related solutions. In terms of innovation, it also takes part in the summit, like the UN summit, that's for AI for Good, that usually happens in Geneva annually. And so it's a platform that give all of us ability to be leaders in AI in Africa. So as one of the outcomes of the meeting today is to also look for university leaders, especially in Kenya, university leaders that are going to shape this. So we are looking for university leaders so that they can take lead in terms of this kind of discussions. So when you create account on this platform, you will be able to land on a page like this one. So you land on a page. I don't know what your view is, but you land up on a page like this one, and you can be able to see conversations that are going on, the discussions are going on, and you can see circles here. So when you go to circles, you can look for a circle that is relating to you. For instance, the circle for Kenya community is Kenya country team. So this one is the one you're supposed to join. If you haven't created, I'll share the link again so that you can be able to access and join this conversation. When you join this circle, you'll get that we'll be having a lot of discussions in this particular circle. This is our first discussion. And we're looking forward to have more discussions. On the same platform, we have topics library where you can have access to free resources that you can learn about different topics relating to AI. So these topics are segregated based on different thematic areas, or we call themes. So we have those are segregated based on the future tech. Those are segregated based on the leadership and workplace skills, where you can go and learn about leadership. You can go learn about the workplace, how to work with others, and what organizations are looking for. On the same platform, you can also access legacy and impact. So these are like the AI Africa's vision and other stories like that. So for instance, this is our first discussion, but this is the resource that you need to review before coming to this gathering. However, there is no harm at all, but you can, based on your own understanding of what Africa AI vision is what we're going to discuss today. But in the future, during our community gatherings, we usually attach these resources to the discussion. So for example, when you go to a discussion, for example, the one we are in now, this one, when you come to this discussion, you'll see a topic here. So when you click on this topic, it will lead you to the topic library. So right now you can see that this is ongoing. This conversation is ongoing right now. So you can just click on this. This is the meeting link. You usually get here meeting link, and here you usually get the resources that you need to access. So when you click on the Africa AI vision, it will open in a new tab, and you can access these resources. The two resources here, this will be our discussion prompts, which we'll be referring to in our discussion before I give a general overview about the African AI vision. So if you don't have an account, you need to create one so that you can access these resources. You can create after this workshop, and moving forward, you can refer to that as one of your guidelines. Let me see if I'm sharing the right screen. Not really, but I am not told that I'm actually discussing and I'm sharing the another screen. So let me share entire screen. Sorry for that. I was talking a lot while sharing another screen, while on another screen. So let me share again. Okay, so quickly I'll take us back to where we are supposed to be. So I said that this is the homepage for Alliance for AI. This is the homepage for Alliance for AI. And once you create an account here, you can be able to access this platform, Future Makers Connect. So this platform gives you access to different opportunities here. So you can see that right now we have some ongoing discussions. We have those who already finished their discussions, and it's across Africa. So for us, we are the one who have this for Kenya, and this is the first one. And so we are looking forward to have similar conversation on different topics in this library. This library, you can access it at any time and be able to utilize these resources in learning whatever skills you need to sharpen, so that when we tag that topic in a particular discussion, you come with already insights. For example, right now we are discussing about Africa AI vision, and there's a resource attached to it. So I was referring you to the circle that we belong. Our circle is Kenya country team. When you click on this circle, you'll see the discussion that we have. So just click on the discussion, for example, view details, and you'll see this discussion. You can see the resource that is attached to it. So when you click on this resource, it will open in a new tab. And when you click here, you join the meeting, which we are already in. So you'll get a resource like this one. So this is the resource that we are referring to today. And these are our prompts that we want to maybe discuss in like 30 minutes. And then I'll give an overview of maybe African AI vision. Yeah, and then we'll call it a day. Okay. Now, hope we are together up to that point. If you're together, please react with thumbs up. So we'll be having similar conversations going on. And thank you so much for joining us today. And this is going to be a conversation actually, and it's not going to be late. So when it comes to Africa GPU Hub, so Alliance for AI in partnership with other organizations like UduTech, they developed a platform where people can rent GPUs and can also purchase GPUs and be able to run For example, AI models in Africa cheaper compared to the initial pricing. GH Cloud AI. So this is the platform. This is the Africa GPU Hub platform. So where people do rent for GPUs. You can buy the GPUs and be able to develop your AI systems. Okay. So this one is capable of enabling AI possibilities in Africa. For instance, in sectors like in healthcare, how AI can enhance healthcare, looking at some things like the medical image analysis, disease prediction, and drug discovery, so that it can be able to accelerate Africans' healthcare. Smart agriculture, things like crop monitoring, yield prediction, pest detection and control, precision farming, yeah, and all this gives capability to boost the agricultural productivity, sustainability. In education, this helps in even developing personalized learning platforms where you first undergo, for example, a needs assessment. Let's say you want to learn digital skills, you undergo a needs assessment on the platform, and the platform recommends where you need to start. If you're a beginner, it recommends you to start with a beginner level instead of going to the intermediate and so on. So kind of like solutions, and also language translations in terms of education. For example, local language translation of resources, and that boosts the understanding of Africans if they can easily relate to their first language. Smart transportation, things like autonomous vehicles. We need training. We need traffic optimization, route planning for like transport and logistics companies. In terms of climate solutions, you can see that here you can have things like weather prediction, helping farmers, yeah, having the ability to plant on the right time, things like renewable energy and climate modeling. So all these are the possibilities, and even financial innovation like fraud detection, credit scoring. This helps even give MSMEs. MSMEs are like small enterprises, micro small enterprises, okay, and medium enterprises. So they are given credits based on a particular algorithm that is used in the machine learning model, so that they can easily be awarded what they deserve. For instance, in Kenya, like the financial model for universities uses a machine learning model to be able to classify you where you belong, maybe in a particular batch. So these batches are based on the information you provide during application, right? So those are like enablers of solutions, like for example, in education sector. And yeah, so these are some of the solutions that you can get from there. So let's go to our agenda of being here. Is actually not about GPUs. So our agenda of being here today is Africa AI vision. Okay, Africa AI vision. Maybe if you hear about Africa AI vision, what comes into your mind? Want to hear from us? If you're not able to unmute and talk, you can send a chat in the chat window. We'll be able to tell you. And please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat section. Feel free to introduce yourself in the chat section so that we can know who you are, where you're joining from, and maybe what you usually do. Or what you aspire to become. And maybe from these sessions, we might even tag you to mentors. Like, for example, we have Beyond Data ICT community, where we usually host webinars, usually host physical events, and usually host trainings in different data and digital tools. So introduce yourself in the chat section. But first, yeah, you can introduce yourself while talking. So this is an opportunity for us to introduce ourselves. So introduce yourself. Maybe you tell us, what do you relate to Africa AI vision? Africa AI vision. Africa AI vision. What comes into your mind? You can raise your hand up and I'll choose you so that you can be able to give us what you think about what is Africa AI vision. What is Africa AI vision? Yep. What is Africa AI vision? Eunice, can you hear me? Eunice, can you hear me? If you can hear me, you can just unmute and say hi. Adams, can you hear me? Simotek. Benjamin, what do you think Africa AI vision is? Just from your own understanding. Not that must be like correct, no correct or wrong answer. So what's your understanding of Africa AI vision? Benjamin. Benjamin, if you're talking, you're on mute. Asbel. Asbel, can you hear me? Anyone who can hear me? I asked last time, we react with thumbs up. So if you can hear me, please react with thumbs up. Simon, please go. Yes, Simon.
Okay, hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I'm Dennis Bernard Wambua.
Ah, yes, Dennis.
To me, what I can say, what I can say about African Air Vision, I think it's a transition whereby now Africa wants to transmit its own AI models, or like Africa now owning its own AI technology.
Yeah. Yes, Africa owning its own AI technology. Very nice to hear that from you, Dennis. I was just reading the names that are there. Please, if I'm reading the names that are not yours, please you unmute and tell me your name. I'll remember that. Thank you so much, Dennis. Maybe I'm calling the name that you joined with, maybe and it's not you. So please just unmute and tell us your name. You can use chat section, introduce yourself, maybe where you're joining from, and that will help a lot. We are asking a question on Africa's AI vision. What do you think Africa AI vision is? This is Kijana Muyama. Kijana Muyama, please introduce yourself. Yeah, and tell us what you understand by Africa AI vision. Karibu sana, Kijana Muyama. If it's not you, you're the one who is raising your hand up, please. I'm just reading what I'm seeing. Please unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Think you are maybe you're using some earphones. They might not be clear enough. Maybe you can remove and just talk without them. Or maybe it's internet connection. We can hear you. Yes, Jana Miyama. If you're not yet ready, I can give Benjamin and then you come back. Kijana Miyama once you're fine. Yes, Benjamin. Africa AI Vision.
Okay, at first I go by the name Benjamin, a student from TUM. Then from what I can say on African AI vision, at first you have to break down the words. So there's Africa AI and vision. So I can basically say that that is an African Union of strategizing on AI to officially all that is one a core idea to transform Africa from on being passive consumers
Yeah.
of global technology
Mm.
to become active ones
Yes.
through creating their own AIs which can solve problems
Yes.
as the one you have shown us, like the agriculture AI,
Yeah.
the game AI.
Yes.
That's what I can say.
Thank you so much, Benjamin. I really concur with you on that. I agree with you on that perspective. So, yeah, thank you so much for the insights that you've given. So, it's a way of ensuring that Africa can be able to grow in terms of AI and not just passive consumers, but leveraging on AI so that they can be able to develop and solve the African problems. The main important thing is actually solving African problems using artificial intelligence. That's the main vision. And now that vision is now broken down into now sectors, as Benjamin has said, broken down into sectors. So it can be now AI for healthcare, AI for education, AI for climate change, AI for agriculture, and so on. But again, another thing comes in. Now, suppose you train a model somewhere else and you come to use it in Africa so that you can solve your Africa problem. Will you have solved your Africa problem? Like, for example, developing machine learning models or developing AI models in general without including Africa's data in the training. Yes, Benjamin.
Okay, on that part, let me use an example. I
Yep.
go to US, I adapted the way they are using their AI there.
Yep.
I come back to Africa.
Yeah.
I will not do the same as they do, but I will advance. I
Yeah.
will use some of the concepts from there
Yeah.
to start now our AI, because you see,
Yes.
even those who came up with computers,
Yeah.
basically there was some concepts which they stole from somewhere, so that they combined it together.
Yeah.
So the thing which makes me say like this is that
Yeah.
US is more advanced.
Yeah.
Then when you come back to Africa, we
Mm.
are a bit down.
Mm.
I can't come with a US fashion and then I expect to put it and fit it into Africa.
Yeah.
It won't match. It won't make any ease.
Yes. Yes.
So I must come up with a solution
Mm.
using the skills from US
Yep.
to come up with a solution basing the capability of Africa,
Yes.
the standards of Africa.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Hey, thank you. That's a very conk point, Benjamin. A very conk point that you've highlighted there. Can we hear from Eunice, Leah? What are your perspectives? You can use chat section. You can unmute and just share with us what you think that Africa AI vision is. Asbel, and we had Kijana. Kijana dropped. Yeah, just raise your hand up and I'll select you so that you can give your point. However, on this platform, as I said, you need to access this platform. There are resources here that you can leverage on getting ideas on whichever topics that we'll be discussing, even now and in the future. So you just need to access this, this platform. So if you haven't, please, you can reach out to me and I can share with you this link and I'll be able to help you set that up. Okay, then now discussion prompt now comes in. First, we tried to understand what Africa AI vision looks like. And maybe before we come to the prompts here about have you heard about this, I can just give better overview again on STEM Africa AI vision. Also just to help us understand what African AI vision is and how AI can help us Africans. So there is key terms here in my title here, Africa AI vision. We are talking about human-centered. So two terms, human-centered, and we are talking about development-driven future. So a human-centered and then a development-driven future. So these things work together. The two of these things work together. That means that we need to develop solutions that serve humans. For instance, if you are a developer or you are a business person, whenever you start a business, you should start a business that solves a problem. Okay? You will not create your problem to be a solution. Maybe you cannot think that maybe your problem is a solution. Maybe just imagine of a problem and say, let me develop a solution for this without involving the user. So the user is we are now the perspective of talking about the human-centered. Okay, and now development-driven future is now the technology part. So it's like having technology that's actually meets our needs, that solves our needs. Okay, that is what human-centered development driven future. So Africa AI vision is about using ethical, okay, inclusive, and locally grounded AI to solve African problems. That is by empowering people and shaping Africa's place in the global digital future. Why am I saying so? Like, for example, Africa's population right now, majority of these people are youths. If for us to have an AI vision, the youths need to be trained. Now we talk about talents. Then we need also to look at what are the priority sectors for Africa, which now leads us to key priority areas for Africa. Like, for example, AI for African priorities. Then Africa needs to solve things to do with food security. AI need to solve issues like health related issues, like disease surveillance. AI need to help our education sector. AI need to help our governance, and AI need to help us in terms of jobs and businesses. That is now MSMEs. Okay. So in Africa, AI success will be measured, okay, by the impact that the AI causes on the livelihood, and not just the model accuracy alone. Okay, so if you're developing a solution, it might have 95% model accuracy, but if it is not solving, okay, a problem, causing an impact on the livelihood, then that is not for us. So that's not for us. Okay, so that's what actually AI Africa Vision is about, helping us combat the key challenges we face in Africa and beyond. If you have more things to add to this, you can share in the chat section. And as we go on, we'll be reviewing that as we go. Okay. You see, so now this one now brings us to talent before technology, because whenever you have technology and we are not using it, then it's not helping us. That thing even applies to businesses, for instance. Like in businesses, if, for example, you buy a digital tool, okay, and you're not using the digital tool to the maximum, okay, then it's not helping your business. It's just a liability that is not helping boost the business growth. And so is technology in Africa. If we talk about technology in Africa, we must talk about the talents. Now, Africa positions itself as a great AI asset, okay? And this is based on its young population. And so the vision must prioritize early exposure to digital literacy. Digital literacy is very key. And AI should not just focus on being centralized in towns. Like, for example, Nairobi, you can find people talking about AI. Mombasa, get people talking about AI. Maybe Kisumu, people talking about AI. But what about Turkana? What about Lodwar? Okay? What about the interior places? What about Wajir? What about, like, we have places that we need AI to reach. So AI can only work for Africa if it can serve the population of Africa. And that's what now brings us to the talents. Okay? The talents. Very important. Now that we have a lot of youths in Africa, people are learning these skills, okay? But we need early exposure. And not just for those who are advantaged. We need to go to marginalized communities. Okay, people who are in interior, no internet connection, nothing, they need also to be aware about digital tools. They must start somewhere. Digital literacy, how to use a mobile phone, maybe a smartphone. Maybe you have those who use buttons but don't know how to use smartphones. We must start the conversation from there. Okay, and then now data skills are very important because AI models, AI is based on data. AI is data, so data skills are needed. So, and also now AI fundamentals, general understanding of AI, ethical AI, explainable AI, and responsible AI. These are the key terms that you can meet. Ethical AI. And we need to have like transparency in terms of using AI, fairness in terms of using AI. Of course, all this is centralized in ethical and responsible utilization of artificial intelligence. And also things like affordable access to the learning platforms, open data sets, and compute resources. Like now, that's why Alliance for AI has GPUs, renting GPUs and selling GPUs at prices that are affordable to the African communities so that people can use them to utilize them to develop local based solutions. And now, all this cannot be possible without strong engagement with the universities, the industry, and the government. That collaboration is needed because our talents can only get these skills through the universities, through the industries. For example, the hubs, like the hubs we have in Africa, like hubs we have in Africa or hubs we have in Kenya. And we have even boards for hubs. For example, in Kenya, we have countrywide innovation hubs. And in Africa, we have AfriLabs. Okay. So these are hubs that nurture. These one are the umbrellas. These are networks of hubs. And then now we come to the hubs themselves. So how can we create that engagement? And also government now comes in to ensure that it strengthens all these sectors. And so what does that mean? It means that whatever the institution are offering, whatever industries are doing, they need to be practical, applied AI skills. So that is not only focus on theory, but puts to hands-on. That way is when we can use AI to solve our problems as Africans. So Africa does not need to catch up. That's the key point. It needs to leverage, okay, on the AI by focusing on developing solutions that solve Africa's problem. Data sovereignty and local context. That is very, very important. For instance, last year around November, yes, we had a workshop. We had a workshop in Mombasa where we were conducting cycling for data awareness. That's what comes here. Local context. AI that is trained on data that is not collected in any part of Africa does not really solve African problems to the highest standards. So we need African data sets. That's what the first thing we do. For us to promote African data sets, we need initiatives like the one I've said, okay, reflecting on the local languages, cultures, contexts. Yeah, we need, for example, we have organizations that are taking shape, okay? Like, for example, in Uganda, like Makerere University is preparing data sets, okay, for Africans and others. So this datasets availability for Africans enables, okay, our organizations, enables us as innovators, enables us youths to develop solutions, African solutions based on the African datasets. And that's the best way we can be able to do. Strengthening data governance, the issue of who owns the data, who collects the data, who owns the data, and how is the data going to be utilized. Okay, so all those are issues that resonate about data sovereignty and local context. That's data infrastructure and cloud solutions, where we can be able to store this data that we are collecting so that it can be open source, okay, accessible, and of course need to be ethical and responsible. And then explainable is the place where when a solution is developed based on the AI, and suppose the solution in a way maybe causes a problem or something doesn't work well, who is responsible for that? Can AI model explain itself to the max? Can people understand? Can the policymakers understand it? That's now the explainable AI, so that we don't have misunderstanding. Okay, that's very, very important. And now these things are here actually. Responsible, ethical, and explainable AI by design. What does that mean? We need fairness, transparency, accountability, and privacy from the start. Okay? Privacy, data privacy. Don't train AI with your personal data, personal identification data. That one is not a way to go. So always accountability is needed. Ensure AI systems are explainable to policymakers, users, and citizens. Okay? We need to protect vulnerable communities. This can be kids, okay? This can be people with disability, and even clients for a particular organization, okay? If your data is exposed without your consent, yeah, is a problem. Need to be fairness. So these are communities that we're referring to that are vulnerable. Also, issues like biasness comes in as well. Data needs to be balanced data set so that isn't biased in any way. Okay. And now the inclusivity, of course, this one now relates to the innovation, inclusive innovation ecosystem. That means that we need to give capabilities to startups, community hubs, local innovators. As I have talked, AI innovation must go beyond big cities. I mentioned that I think in my previous communication there, that it doesn't really need to belong to the big cities and elite labs. Okay, it needs to go to the remote areas, need to go to the marginalized communities, so that it can be able to support startups, community hubs, and the local innovators. Enable access for women, rural communities, and marginalized groups. That way we can now encourage open source. Okay, development of solutions that are open source that all of us can be able to leverage on, in terms of pushing the Africa's AI agenda. For example, when you develop an application for precision farming, then we need to see how that solution can be open source so that Africans can leverage on that solution in order for us to be able to improve our food security perspective. Okay, so this one makes us feel like no one should be left behind in Africa's AI future. As you can see, this one like touches every group, and that's why we are here. So we need regional collaboration. Like for example, in Africa, we need regional collaboration. This one is like the issues of AI strategy, Africa's AI strategy. Okay, so we have umbrellas that we can use to harmonize AI policies across the African Union and regional blocks like the EAC, like right now we are talking about EAC, ECOWAS does the same, okay, and so on. And also be able to share best practices, share research, share infrastructure, okay, and speak with one voice in the global AI governance discussions. Like for example, in March 4th to 6th, there is that EAC community that will be EAC conference that will be happening in Kigali, Rwanda, about still AI. So all these conversations need to bring together people of different perspectives. For example, if we have a hackathon for innovators, these innovators do not really need to be alone. We need to have, let's say if you are innovating about agriculture, you're innovating about climate, Let's have people who are practicing climate in that hackathon so that these innovators can get an opportunity to talk to the users, okay? Talk to the users so that the solutions that are developed are human-centered solutions. So these solutions actually do not need to be developed just to remain in the labs, okay? Yeah, so that is it about the Africa AI vision in general, but you can share more in the chat section, or you can unmute and talk about something you feel like is part of us here. Yeah, and this will be a very insightful engagement. Hope we've gotten something out of that, and maybe, yeah, if you're together up to that point, you can react with thumbs up. Yeah, thanks. Any reactions, that will mean that we are together to that. So maybe if you have something you want to share also on the same, you can just proceed and share in the comment section or unmute, but mainly talk about these two things. So what are some of the news you have heard about AI in Africa, and who are the top Africa AI players you know? These are the key discussion points. What do you think about these two? Who are the top players of AI in Africa you know, and any news you've heard about AI in Africa? So you can share that in the chat section. But if you need to unmute, you can unmute and give your point. Okay. So we are looking forward to that. So you can share that in the comment section. We also, in the platform, we also have somewhere you can chat, so you can also share your opinions there in the platform. Yeah, as we finalize. Yes, Benjamin, please proceed.
Okay. According to the second question,
Yeah,
the top AI players,
yeah,
we can start with the Gemini.
yes,
Gemini is an AI, a Google AI,
yeah,
which was founded. It was from Ghana, I think Ghana.
mm,
It was an AI researcher from Ghana.
mm,
Yes, they were dealing. I'm forgetting the things that I read.
okay,
Uh-huh. But there is one from Ghana.
yeah,
There was another one from Tunisia.
mm,
And then there was this Microsoft. It is Microsoft Africa, which
mm,
was founded from Kenya and Nigeria, I think.
mm,
And then, but basically, like I can say, there are those which
mm,
are giants in
yeah,
developing it,
yeah,
and then there are those which are visionary startups
yeah,
which are able to solve the problems.
yes,
There are those countries which are best in researching and community leaders.
yeah,
But I can't say that there is a specific country which has all of them,
yeah,
because as from Kenya, I can say they developed the Microsoft Africa.
yep,
Then they are few in solving problems,
yes,
few minimal cases,
mm,
and then they are the key influencers.
okay,
Kenya are the key influencers.
mm,
AG, there was that man. It was a man. Tigo someone,
mm,
who was was in leadership of AI governance.
mm,
was by alikuwa anaitwa Tigo Philip kitu ka hiyo. And then so basically the strongest in academic research and
Yes.
need that is from South Africa. And then when you come to agri-tech,
Yeah.
and mobile integrated AIs are for Kenya. In Nigeria for financial AI, healthcare solutions. Egypt are for enterprise. Yes, I think enterprise, something like that. Then the specific people are the Philip Tigo.
Yes.
There was Dr. Johnson from Nigeria, I think.
Yeah.
And then there was another man from Ethiopia. The name was hard. Yes.
Okay, Benjamin. Thank you so much for your insights sharing on the top African players. Actually, African players, when you talk about startups, we have platforms like Zindi. These are players. These are a community of data scientists where I also happen to be an ambassador. So it's a platform that you can go and learn resources. You'll get resources there from Microsoft, resources there from Google, resources there from IBM. All these other people that I'm mentioning are actually also part of the top players of AI in Africa because they have provided open source resources as well for talent learning, that is for skill development. So you can also access those resources. For example, for Microsoft, there's Microsoft Learn. So Google also has a platform. IBM has IBM Build. So you can also access some resources there and learn. So these are top players, like even Amazon, AWS, like have platforms for that, and also have also some grants for non-profit development for non-profit organizations, grant for cloud that based, and so on. So all this gives capability in advancing solutions in Africa. Yeah. So that one helps us answer that question about who are the top Africa AI players. But about this news, you heard about Africa AI Vision, AI strategy, which was by July 2025. Africa AI strategy, Africa AI strategy, Africa AI strategy. That's 2025. And oh, sorry, Africa AI strategy. AI strategy. Africa AI strategy. This one was, I think it's also still part of, this one is the strategy, the whole documentation from African Union. But Interpol, I think it's Interpol had shared a map of how that looks like. I can just search on the images here and I can see that it's here from the Interpoint. And you can see that this is the Africa AI strategy. So this was in terms of the policies that are governing how AI can be utilized in these different countries and the states and so on. So all these countries that you see, there's a key here showing those that have already launched their AI strategies. This one was as at July 2025, and those countries that are still in the development of the same, and those that haven't started. And also maybe some key insights on why some others have not started yet. Maybe they'll still have some post-conflict related states, and so face some challenges in terms of being left behind. And so when we talk about that, these are kind of insights that we've seen growing, taking a rapid. Maybe you can grab yourself a copy of your country, for example, for Kenya, and read through the Africa's AI strategy, maybe the Kenya's AI strategy, yeah, and see how will that go. Now, as we finalize this meeting, unless there is something you can share in the chat section, as I finalize this meeting of today, we would like to I would like to ask someone here who is in the university or a higher learning institution, or you know someone else who is in another higher learning institution who is passionate about artificial intelligence, that's AI. We are developing a community of these people. So we are going to have university chapters for AI, for Alliance for AI. So take this opportunity to reach out to me. You can reach me via LinkedIn here, or if you are in the community, you will be able to reach out to me via the WhatsApp, and you can refer even the person to reach to me via WhatsApp or whichever means. This is my LinkedIn, Emmanuel Madanga. You can just search that in LinkedIn. You'll be able to connect with me. And let's keep this conversation going on beyond today. So if you're not in the Beyond Data community, let's join there. We'll be also sharing in the WhatsApp when are we having our next engagement meetings, like on the same like topics. But if you are not enrolled in the platform, please do so that you can access resources, go through the resources on the platform, and interact with others on the platform, and let's see how we can build the AI future. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining our today's first meeting. This is our first gathering, which was on short notice actually, but we are going to do better so that we can have these like conversations a month's time, or some like 2 weeks time, and then we can be able to improve on our engagement and improve. So please also remember to share these opportunities with your colleagues. It's good for them to be aware about AI. This is not for technical people alone. It's actually a conversation for everyone. As you have seen, when we were talking about the priorities for Africa's AI vision, we have mentioned that it's for everyone, even those who are in agriculture, those who are in medicine, those who are like, anyone needs to be included. So an inclusive AI future. Thank you so much for joining our today's session, and I'd like to wish you the very best as you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you, and goodbye. Thank you and goodbye. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining.